Tuesday afternoon, your neighbor calls, voice quieter than usual. His last mortgage payment just cleared. He sounds different. Not fireworks. Quieter. Like a refrigerator you'd stopped hearing finally goes silent. The room had been humming the whole time. I'm Frank. Every number cited. Fred, Census, Federal Reserve. 3 peer-reviewed studies. We follow one man through the milestone. We'll call him Dave. His final payment cleared at 11:14 Tuesday. 5 years rewrote what he thought money was for. By the end, your own Sunday night math won't disappear. It will look completely different. Stay with me. I'm Frank. Coffee shop, Tuesday morning. We run one of these every week. Primary source math, no doom. Subscribe and stick around. Today is the milestone math episode. What genuinely shifts when the last payment processes? What doesn't? And the things nobody warned you about either side. Dave is 52, married 26 years. 2 kids, 1 in college, 1 starting a job. Combined household income, $110,000 a year, sounds solid until you run the math through what life actually costs in 2026. Federal and state taxes, FICA, a modest 401k contribution. They take home around $6,800 a month. Both work, both commute. They have done everything they were supposed to do. Now watch what fits inside 6.8. Mortgage on their $380,000 house at the rate they refinanced into, $2,400 a month. Property tax, $380. Homeowner's insurance, $200 maintenance reserve, because the HVAC doesn't care that it's December, $320. That's $3,300 a month just to legally occupy the building. They have $3,500 left, 2 car payments, because nothing is walkable, $800. Insurance, gas, $520. Student loans because the degrees didn't pay for themselves, $550. Health insurance premiums, employer partially covers $380. Groceries for 2 adults trying to eat like grown-ups, $700. Utilities, internet, phones, $420. Add it up. They have $130 left every month. Frank at the whiteboard? $130. That's not poverty. That's 2 college-educated professionals with no boat, no Europe trip, doing everything by the book. The mortgage isn't the only line, but it's the one running silently behind every other decision they make. Every Sunday night, Dave lies in bed redoing this month's numbers, not because anything went wrong. Nothing went wrong. He keeps tallying in the dark because the alternative is accepting that this is what life just feels like now. Here's what costs nothing on a spreadsheet, but everything in a life. Career conversations get filtered through one silent question: can we still cover the mortgage? Every promotion, every raise, every move, every sabbatical request, every business idea, every meaningful pay cut. Dave's wife had a chance to take a meaningful role last year. Lower base, better mission, better hours. They ran the math. They said no, not because she didn't want it, because the mortgage didn't let her. That conversation happened in October. Dave thought about starting a contracting business in 2023. 2 clients lined up. He knew the trade cold. He had the certs. He passed. 1 bad quarter and they would have lost the house. The mortgage said no. The mortgage always said no. This is what nobody tells you when you sign the 30-year paperwork. The mortgage isn't just a bill. It's a permission slip you have to silently ask for every time you want to do something different with your life. The bank holds the pen. 12 years into the loan, Dave starts running different math. Not because he's a finance person, because his oldest is heading to college and he's tired of running the same Sunday math. What would it take to end this on his terms? The standard answer in personal finance is invest the difference, because the historical market beats your mortgage rate. We will get to that argument. It is the loudest argument on the internet. It is also wrong for most of the people making it. Stay with that. Frank on camera with a TV chart. The 30-year loan on the $450,000 balance, Dave, was carrying 6.5% standard amortization, total interest paid. If he runs it to the contract, $573,776. Read that again. The bank collects more in interest than the house cost itself on a $300,000 mortgage at 6%, $348,000 in interest alone. You buy the house twice. That is the business model. Print it on the wall. Acceleration option 1, bi-weekly payments. Cut the monthly in half, pay every 2 weeks. Sounds like accounting trivia until you see the result. 13 full payments a year instead of 12. 1 extra payment quietly each year. On Dave's $450 at 6.5%, bi-weekly cuts 5 to 6 years off the loan and saves $117,000 in interest. 1 small calendar change. No lifestyle pain. No raise required. $117,000 fewer dollars handed to the bank. Acceleration option 2, $500 extra a month toward principal. On the same loan that moves shortens the timeline by about 8 years and kills $146,000 in interest. Half a car payment, 8 years of your life back. Acceleration option 3, $1,000 extra a month. Now the 30-year mortgage becomes a 17-year mortgage. You finish at 55 instead of 63. 8 years of difference is not a small number. That is most of someone's healthy retirement. These are not heroic sacrifices. They are calendar tweaks and budget reshuffles. The reason most homeowners don't make them is not income. It is that nobody runs the math out loud. The bank certainly is not going to. Dave picked the middle road. Bi-weekly plus $300 extra toward principal when he could afford it. He did this starting at year 12. His last payment landed at year 22. 8 years early. Almost $130,000 in interest he never paid.
Frank at the desk now before we celebrate the obligatory invest-versus-payoff argument. A certain comment is already being drafted. Watch me address it before it appears below this video. We will be fair. We will also be honest.
The argument goes, if your mortgage rate is below 5%, the spreadsheet says invest the extra money in the stock market instead of prepaying the loan. That argument is not wrong. Let me give you the real version. Wharton professor Michael Roberts ran the numbers on a $500,000 mortgage at 3%. Investing excess payments in the market beat early payoff in roughly 95% of historical 30-year windows. Real research, public-facing teaching materials, cite the man. The Federal Reserve confirms about 82% of currently held U.S. mortgages carry rates below 5%, locked in during the 2020 refi window. For that majority, the spreadsheet really does say invest the difference. The math is clean. Here is what the spreadsheet does not know. The personal saving rate in March 2026 was 3.6%. In 1990, it was 7.9%, cut in half, down 54%. That is the number that breaks the spreadsheet. Translation, when the mortgage payment disappears and becomes discretionary cash, most households absorb it into lifestyle inside 18 months and have nothing to show for it. The spreadsheet assumes you invest the difference. The data says you don't. The spreadsheet also assumes you hold through a 40% crash while still owing $2,500 a month on a leveraged house. That is a fundamentally different psychological experience than watching the same crash from a paid-off home you cannot lose. And the invest the difference crowd never mentions the one finding that genuinely matters. According to peer-reviewed research, debt impairs measurable cognitive functioning. You have been making 30-year financial decisions from a cognitively compromised state. Weigh your own math accordingly. Frank in the coffee shop chair, calm. Manny, Melanathan, Shafir, Zhao. Science Journal, 2013, cited around 3,000 times. Financial stress consumed mental bandwidth equivalent to losing roughly 13 IQ points on standard cognitive tests. That is not poetry. That is the measured result. So the question is not which spreadsheet wins. The question is which version of your brain runs the rest of your financial life. The leveraged version or the unleveraged version. Most people never even ask. They just default to whatever Reddit said last week. Dave's reasoning was simpler. He knew his own personality. He knew if the extra $2,000 a month landed in his checking account, half of it would become better takeout and a nicer truck inside a year. The mortgage was his forced savings. He kept it at rates above 7%, which is where most 2022 and later buyers are sitting. Aggressive payoff becomes a guaranteed 7% return that is hard to argue against. Between 4.5 and 7, it is a genuine judgment call. Below 4.5, spreadsheet wins, but only if you actually invest the difference. One more wrinkle, a fixed sub-5 mortgage is an inflation hedge. Nominal loan shrinks in real value while you pay it back. Paying it off early is handing back a gift. The real answer isn't a rate, it is knowing yourself. Quick pause before we step into the moment. Drop your own number in the comments, the one you've been avoiding running for years. Most upvoted topic becomes the next video now. Year 22, Tuesday afternoon, the last payment processes at 11:14. Dave calls his neighbor from earlier. The neighbor expects fireworks. Dave doesn't sound like fireworks. He sounds like a man whose refrigerator finally stopped humming. He says he didn't know the noise had been there. He doesn't trust the silence yet. He'll sit with it. That night, Dave doesn't run the Sunday night math. He goes to bed at 10 and sleeps through. He wakes at 6 the way he always does, but something has rearranged in his body. He cannot name it yet. He will in about 3 weeks. Frank, standing in front of camera with a small wall chart. Sweet, Nandi, Adam, McDade, 2013, Social Science and Medicine, around 600 citations. They found that high debt-to-asset ratios correlated with higher blood pressure and higher rates of depression, even after controlling for income. The mortgage is not a metaphor for stress. It is a physical load your body is carrying. When it lifts, your nervous system notices before your brain has the words for it. Dave's resting heart rate drops 3 beats per minute over the next 6 weeks. He'll discover it on the fitness app. His sleep quality score goes up 19%. He doesn't change anything. He just stops doing the Sunday night math. That math was the load. Removing it produced what every personal finance video on the internet underexplains because none of them measure it. His wife notices something else. Dave argues differently, less defensive, less reactive. She mentions it twice in a month. Dave says nothing changed. She says everything changed. She is right. He's the one running cognitive tests now without realizing it. This is the unseen part of mortgage payoff. The brain bandwidth that was spent quietly modeling "can we cover it" is suddenly free. Career thinking sharpens, patience returns. The 13 IQ point money gap closes in reverse. He gets pieces of himself back he forgot he'd loaned out. He starts answering work emails in fewer drafts. He volunteers for things he used to avoid. None of this shows up in his paycheck. All of it shows up in the next year. People who haven't been under the load don't see it. People who have recognize it instantly. The neighbor, same call from the opening, keeps texting Dave little updates over the next 6 months. Things like slept 8 hours straight, and didn't check the brokerage app once today, and took the kids out for ice cream without calculating. Tiny notes, big signals. This is what does not appear in the spreadsheet model. The spreadsheet says invest the difference and you'll have a slightly larger number on a screen at age 60. It is silent on whether the person reading that number is still a person you want to be. Frank with the TV chart now showing percentages. There's a debt closure study Nick of the original blueprint cites. Anxiety dropping from 78% of participants showing clinical symptoms down to 53% just from closing debt accounts, not reducing closing. The brain processes open versus closed loops, not magnitudes. This is why closing one $3,000 credit card produces more psychological relief than partially reducing a $5,000 debt. Your brain does not negotiate dollar amounts. It tracks open tabs. The mortgage is, for most people, the last open tab of their adult financial life. Now, the honest math nobody wants to print on a thumbnail. When Dave's $2,400 a month payment disappears, he does not get $2,400 to invest. Property tax did not disappear. Homeowner's insurance did not disappear. The HVAC still picks Sundays to die on a $400,000 paid-off home in 2026. You're still looking at roughly $838 a month in mandatory occupancy cost. Property tax around $412, insurance around $198, maintenance reserve around $228. The house pays rent to the state and the contractor forever. So a $2,400 payment disappearing hands you about $1,600 in real deployable cash. Not $2,400. 16 plan for the real number. Because the gap between what you thought you'd have and what you actually have is exactly the size of a November property tax bill. And that bill is bigger than it used to be. Tax Foundation, U.S. property taxes up 27% since 2019. Homeowners premiums up 52% since 2020. CPI shelter index up 213% since 90. The atmosphere is collecting. $1,600 a month, not 24. 16. Memorize that gap. The first November tax bill after payoff is the moment most people realize they didn't budget for the real number, only the headline plan for the real one. A note for Dave specifically and for anyone listening with a paid-off home in their 60s. Medicaid estate recovery is a thing. If long-term care goes through Medicaid, your paid-off home is not automatically protected from post-mortem recovery. Look it up. Plan early. The milestone is not the end of planning. Frank at the bookshelf now, so what does Dave do with the $1,600? Not invest the difference in the lazy version. Rebuild the emergency fund first. House poor years, thinned it. Then max the 401k match, then Roth, then HSA if eligible, then broad index funds and taxable. In that order, boring, effective. Now, what gets unlocked? With $1,600 a month redirected at 8%, Dave's at $365,000 inside 10 years, $1,177,000 at 20. He'll contribute about $384,000. The market contributes $793. Compound out-earns the contributor by year 11. But that is the boring downstream story. The interesting story is what Dave does with his choices. Year 23. His wife revisits that meaningful but lower pay role. They run the math. The math says yes this time. She takes it. 18% base cut, 25% purpose increase. Worth it. Year 24. Dave finally starts the contracting business he passed on in 2023. 2 clients lined up like before. The difference this time is 1 bad quarter no longer loses him the house. The bank doesn't get to veto the business. The math doesn't. He's not wealthy. His household income line on the tax return is actually lower for the first 18 months. But the household income line is not the same thing as the household life. He is, for the first time in 26 years, choosing his work for its own reasons. This pattern is documented at scale, not just in one Dave. Academic research found home equity boost increases entrepreneurship, particularly among households who used to be financially constrained. Inverse, high mortgage leverage measurably suppresses business formation. The mechanism is exactly what you'd expect. Frank back at the desk now. Schmaltz, Serrer, Thesmar, Journal of Finance 2017, around 600 citations. Title, Housing Collateral and Entrepreneurship. Findings, every dollar trapped in a mandatory monthly payment is a dollar that cannot absorb business risk somewhere else. Releasing the dollar releases the risk capacity. This is why housing security matters more than housing wealth in the long run. The wealth is on a screen. The security shows up in the choices people allow themselves to make. Dave's tax return does not capture that. His Tuesdays do. Now the math that genuinely reframes the milestone, FIRE math, short for financial independence, retire early. The formula is 25 times your annual expenses equals the portfolio you need to be free of work obligations. The number isn't motivational. It is arithmetic from the Trinity Study and Bengen 1994. When Dave's mortgage disappeared, his mandatory annual expenses dropped by roughly $24,000 a year. The payment times 12, applied 25 times. His financial independence number just dropped by $600,000. He did not earn more. He earned a smaller target. This is the move nobody markets on Instagram. He doesn't have to hit a bigger pile. He has to hit a smaller pile because survival costs less. 600,000 fewer dollars he ever has to chase. That changes when he can call it. He just bought himself years. Frank at the TV chart, 3 numbers stacked. 1,600, 1.177 million, 600,000 freed monthly. 20-year compound drop in the independence pile, 3 numbers that travel together. Now, the part nobody warns you about. Survivor footage exists. Homeowners who paid off years early reporting honestly 4 years later. Some report a quieter drift, identity loss. What am I working toward now? Lifestyle creep. The forcing function that disciplined them is gone. Some households drift back into smaller debts. The mortgage gave shape to 20-something years of decisions. When it ends, you have to build new structure, new goals, new disciplines, new forcing functions. Otherwise, the silence you wanted becomes a different kind of static. This is not in the personal finance literature. It is in the survivor footage. Plan for that. The day the lien releases, ask yourself what the next discipline is. Investment automation, a charitable commitment, a new career on a longer timeline. Anything that gives the next 20 years a shape that is not just absence of mortgage. The milestone is a doorway, not a finish line. Frank back in the coffee shop, smaller cup, leaning forward. Here is the aphorism for this episode. Slowly, the mortgage is the last permission slip you needed from a stranger to live your own life. Closing it doesn't make you rich, it hands you the pen back. And here's the action close. If you currently carry a mortgage above 7%, run the bi-weekly math tonight, just bi-weekly. No spreadsheet acrobatics. See what 8 years off your retirement timeline looks like. The number will probably surprise you. If your rate is below 5, the spreadsheet still favors invest the difference, but automate it. Brokerage transfer this week, not next year. Macro saving rate is 3.6. Don't be the macro. And if any of this helped, like it. Drop your next number in the comments. Subscribe. Next topic comes from there. We read every comment. Frank looking straight at camera, quiet. Confession. I finished my own last mortgage payment 3 years ago, and I still catch myself some Sunday nights running the math on a payment that has not existed in 36 months. That is how deep the load goes. It takes a while to leave the body. $1,600 freed. 1,177,000 compounded. 600,000 off your independence number. 3 numbers, 1 milestone. The numbers are how you measure it. The Tuesday afternoon phone call is how it actually feels. Frank at the bookshelf, calm, ring close. The mortgage gave shape to decades of your decisions. Closing it doesn't end the math, it changes what the math is for. Math doesn't negotiate, don't try.